Hello and welcome back to Unnamed Cocktail Show, a cocktail show for people who want to learn how to drink better. We are back for Season 2, the Core Cocktail Redux. In our first 6 episodes, we looked at 6 of the cocktails that form the backbone of modern cocktail recipes. The old-fashioned, martini, daiquiri, sidecar, whiskey highball, and brandy flip. That core list comes from the Cocktail Codex, the second book from Death & Company, an amazing New York cocktail bar. In Season 2, we're going to branch out from those classics and see what we get when we make changes to those core recipes. We'll end up with other classic recipes, riffs on old favorites, and sometimes even a brand new drink. This episode, it's our Martini Redux. The core components of our original martini recipe were gin and vermouth. With such a simple recipe, how do we utilize it and make something new out of it? Well, the easiest thing to do is substitute in a new liquor and fortified wine. Changing the liquor will change the core flavor, and changing the vermouth or fortified wine will change the aromatic component and lighter flavor profiles. The first recipe we'll try with these substitutions is the Manhattan. Now, the Manhattan could actually be considered a predecessor to the Martini. However, the Martini recipe gives us a few more variables to play with, which is why that was our core recipe. First things first, let's chill down our glass. Now, while that's chilling, let's start getting this drink put together. For the first part of a Manhattan, you'll want to use a dark liquor, preferably a bourbon, rye, whiskey, or brandy. I typically go for a bourbon or a rye. Today I'm using Old Forester bourbon. So, the recipe for a Manhattan is very simple and extremely easy to remember if you can recall the Manhattan area code, 212. That is also the proportions for this drink. So, we start with 2 ounces of bourbon. Next up is 1 ounce of sweet vermouth. This is a truly beautiful sweet vermouth, the Carpano Antica formula. This is hands down the best vermouth I've ever had. You could easily drink this with just a little ice and maybe a lemon peel. Using this vermouth will elevate these 2 drinks more than anything else you could do. So, we take 1 ounce of the Carpano, and then the final ingredient is 2 dashes of Angostura Bitters. Next, grab an ice cube, crack it, add another to weigh it down, and then we stir. As always, make sure you throw your ice around the glass, because we are looking to fully chill with this drink. Dump out your chilling mix, grab your julep strainer, and strain into your glass. Then, we garnish with a nice dark cherry. That is your finished Manhattan. Very simple, very classic, and very delicious. Alright, that's drink number 1. Let's move on to drink number 2, the Negroni. The Negroni might be an even more straightforward recipe than the Manhattan, but it is one of my favorite options for spring and summer. Start by grabbing an ice cube, and this is a drink that we just build in the glass. So we start off with our gin. Beefeater is my go-to. 1 ounce of that in our glass, followed by 1 ounce of Campari. Campari is an Italian bitter orange liqueur that gives this drink its signature flavor and color. With the bitterness, this is a great drink to sip on a patio. And then we're coming back in with the Carpano Antica formula, 1 ounce of that as well. Give it a quick stir in the glass to make sure ingredients are combined. And then we're grabbing an orange and taking a nice piece of peel to use as our garnish. This adds a gorgeous touch of freshness to brighten up the drink. As always, express the citrus peel over the glass and then just give it a twist and drop it in. And there is cocktail number 2 from our Martini Redux, the Negroni. Remember, when you start playing with these recipes at home, the core of a martini is a liquor mixed with a vermouth, occasionally adding a bitter component. And that is all for this episode of Unnamed Cocktail Show. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you again next time.